Hi, and welcome to show number 10 of the El Cafecito Travel Talks, a podcast where people share travel stories and adventures. My name is Tony Lloyd, and I'm going to be your host. I'd like to thank all the people that have been following us so far, and for the new people, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe and also leave your notes and comments. For any additional questions or feedback, you can send us an email to elcafecitotraveltalks@gmail.com. That would be greatly appreciated. Today's show was previously recorded here at the Hostel El Cafecito in Cuenca, Ecuador. For this show, I sit down with Barbora, a human resources professional from the Czech Republic. We talk about traveling, volunteering, and how this helps your future profession. So please get yourself a cup of tea or a coffee and enjoy today's show.
I'm Barbara. I come from Czech Republic. I've been traveling for 3 months now. So after I finished my university, I started to work. I actually went to Berlin to have some international experience, and I get some internship in HR department because I was interested in HR. And after I came back to Prague, I just ran my career within HR. So human resources, mostly recruiting people, looking for a new job for those people, interviewing them, and helping them to find the best job they could have. On the other side, I was helping companies, my clients, to find the best people to work for them.
To fill the position.
Yes.
Okay, so actually, Barbara, you're a perfect person to talk to today about coming from the human resources aspect about it. Because a lot of people out there believe that, okay, if I do this, if I start to travel, this is going to be a career suicide. I'm not going to be able to get a job. I'm not going to be able to get back into the work field. So I think that's what we'd like to speak a little bit about today. So will tell me a little bit about how you got inspired to do this.
Okay. I think it's very important that you mentioned that the career break might be something that don't look very nice in your CV, and the companies actually appreciate people who are more stable, so they have, for example, more years of experience in one company or something. But what I realized, and that's why I'm also here, I just decided to quit my job. I felt like it wasn't something I was actually born for. And if I'm gonna stay there just because there are some social rules or something I should follow, I'm not gonna be happy. I'm not gonna do what I want, and that's why the energy I'm giving is kind of like not good, and I'm probably not doing the best of me because I'm stuck somewhere where I'm not don't want to be.
So that's a very good point. If you're not happy,
Exactly.
you're obviously not going to be
Exactly.
doing a good job in whatever your career is.
Exactly. So there were more question marks before I decided to quit. Or I'm actually 32, and it was like, people around you maybe tell you you should probably maybe find a boyfriend and get family and get babies and not to travel around doing stupid things, like. But for me, it was like I really want it, and if I really want to go somewhere and get some experience, meet some people, I should do it and not listen to people who don't have this experience. They just don't consider it as an option. Yeah, and I was also very interested in volunteering, like doing something more not business wise, but maybe more charity wise to help actually people at the same time. So I started to look for some volunteering projects within like teaching or nonprofit organizations and stuff. Yeah, so that was also one of the reasons why I came here. And I'm actually writing a blog about it because I want to motivate more people in Czech Republic to do things like that, because it was actually the best thing I could have ever done. And I gained so much experience just within those 3 months. And I'm definitely sure I'm gonna use it when I'm coming back and maybe doing some another interviews to have a new job. I'm definitely sure there are so many things I can like sell or like to offer to the future company, because while traveling you can meet so many people that inspire you. You can learn languages and share actually all the ideas with the other travelers, and I think it's definitely good for the world in general to meet people around from the different countries.
Okay, you mentioned volunteer work. Let's talk a little bit about what were some of the ways that you found you were able to find volunteer work? What were some of the...
Yeah, actually, I was pretty impressed because a friend of mine who travels a lot, before I came, she told me about Workaway, which is the platform where you can find volunteer projects all around the world. So I just picked the country I was actually interested in, and I put some like keywords, for example, teaching or English or stuff, because I was interested in teaching kids. Yeah, I easily found a couple of projects I actually applied for. I didn't spend almost anything. There's just a yearly fee that you pay for your account, but the other communication is for free. And I started to communicate with people that they actually offered me the volunteering projects later.
Okay, so for the people who might not heard of Workaway, Workaway is a website which is workaway.info, which allows individuals to post a profile of themselves and also look at projects that exist all around the world. Barbara, how's your experience been so far with Workaway?
It was very good because you can also like put the reviews to the people you're in contact with, so you already can see the recommendations from people. You can see how often they come back to you. So it's like everywhere. You can just easily pick the best option that you can. And once contacted the projects, they came to me pretty like fast, and the communication was pretty smooth.
I think one of the things that's really important for people to understand is that in the same way that the people themselves are looking for volunteers, there's a lot of organizations out there that are looking for people to volunteer. And there's a lot of different ways also, we could talk about that in another episode, about how to get yourself in other sort of volunteer projects of your choices. Yeah. Could you explain to us a little bit about one of your experiences with Workaway? What's been one of the things you've done?
Yeah, I had a plan. I was really interested in working within some community to teach, but because I have a lot of experience, I actually really appreciate, or I really enjoy to be within like the services. So I was looking for the job in a hostel for 3 weeks. And so yeah, at the same time I was in contact with some hostels, and on the other hand I was in contact with some schools and charity programs. For me, it was pretty fast. I contacted just 3 hostels because as I have this experience like rejecting the candidates to say, let's say later, and it's not a very nice job. So I just decided to approach a couple of them. So it was easier. And after a couple of days, I already had an agreement with one of the hostels. So it didn't take me much time to actually. Yeah, I was doing it in Spanish because they require Spanish. Okay. And that was also one of the reasons why I came to South America, to improve it. But that time I was really bad in Spanish, so I used my translator, Google Translate, and it's perfect. I really recommend because you just write everything in your language, you put it in translator, and it's not like perfect, but you have the translation that is perfect, and the people on the other side, they understand everything.
I think they get the concept.
Exactly.
I think that's the key
and
factor.
That was actually the first time I started to use Spanish because I read everything and I had to translate it back. So I was learning while communicating with these people on the projects.
Okay, and so what was the project? Explain to us a little bit. Without You don't have to say the name of the company or anything.
It's okay. It was a hostel in Latacunga.
Latacunga is just south of Quito, right? About an hour and a half south of Quito.
Hour and a half south from Quito. And
Quito, Ecuador.
In Ecuador. Because I was really interested in this area, like around Quilotoa and Cotopaxi, because I'm just in love with volcanoes and mountains. So I wanted something around, and I found this hostel, and they actually gave me a really nice job because, as I said, I really like hiking and mountains. So the half of the 3 weeks I spent there, I was actually around the mountains doing the loops and the routes, and I was trying to improve all the information about those hiking routes. So it was a really nice job because I was actually doing what I really love.
Okay, so you're in charge of updating all the information,
pictures, using the maps.
Sounds cool.
Trying to use the new technologies because the last experience I have from high-tech companies. So I was also trying to use some applications, to bring some experience from home to another world. So that's about the sharing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I came back to the hostel and I was describing all this information, uploading pictures, using social media, and helping this hostel to be more attractive, let's say.
Okay. So, and I think it's another point to point out that here in Latin America, there's a lot of people who don't have the same skills with social media.
Exactly.
And that's a very valuable skill. So a lot of times people, so even just the little things like how to use Facebook or how to use Twitter is something very big in this environment. After that experience, did you have another experience?
Then I was in contact with one non-profit organization in Manta, which is a city in Manabi. We actually started to talk about this education and English teaching part. But to be honest, because I have these skills and they don't have it, like social media, English and stuff, I ended up again with my computer. But I'm happy I was there because I think I helped them a lot, and they helped me actually. I was trying to help them with English translation of all the documents. We were looking for some foundations to actually support it financially. But on the other side, I actually learned how to create a website. That's what I was able to create my own blog, new web pages. And I decided to, when I have this skill, I decided to create one web page for this NGO as well. So at the end, we had one web page for them in Spanish and English.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, so and it taught me a lot. So yeah, I think it was perfect, and I stayed with with the parents of the director of the non-profit organization. So there was no English; it was just Spanish. After 2 or 3 weeks that I was actually speaking Spanish, you have these like doubts. Why I actually came here? Shouldn't I be like better with my family at home in a warm room? Don't deal with that. But actually, when there is this time, you realize that you're able to speak. It's nobody can take it from you back. It's amazing feeling. It makes you stronger. All this experience, it's amazing. It's amazing, and all the people I told this about, we shared this, and we agreed that there's nothing better than just to have this experience in your life.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about your blog. You had mentioned that you started a blog. Yeah. I know that it's in Czech, and so the people who are listening to us in English and that might want to see it, they might have to use Google Translator to understand everything that's on your page. Tell us about that. Tell us about how you got inspired to do it. What are some of the contents that you have in your blog?
The first article was about what we were talking about right now, like these social rules, maybe doing these decisions, even if it's like kind of risky, or there are always some people or something that might like give it how would you say that, just stop you.
They'll try to talk you out of it, try to convince you that this is not what you should be doing at this stage. But
as I said, like you should listen more to your heart and intuition than the social idea or like around you. And if you really need something and it makes sense to you, you should go for it, because otherwise it doesn't make sense to be here.
I'm getting the message that you're not regretting your time.
Oh, no, it was the best thing I could ever done. I don't regret it like at all. There wasn't actually a single like minute I would regret it. The whole trip, which is still not at the end. I don't know when I'm coming back, but it gave me so much, and I met such an inspiring people that I would never take it back.
Okay. When people are trying to decide whether or not they should spend a year going to 15 different countries or spend a year maybe doing some of the volunteer projects that you've worked on, what would you say to them? I
would definitely recommend to do some projects while traveling, because there's also one thing I'm going to write about. Yeah, people think it's very expensive, and actually it can be very expensive to travel. But when you volunteer, like, for example, you have this project via Workaway, you don't have to. I actually didn't spend a penny during the first 6 weeks, because you have the accommodation usually, you have 3 meals a day, and that's what you need, right? And the especially within South America, or maybe in Asia, it's even like more like cheaper. You just need to transport yourself from one place to another, but it doesn't cost that much money. You can actually travel for free.
I think one of the other things to point out also when you talk about working in a volunteer program or communication like that is that usually Spanish classes or any language classes are very expensive. However, when you're actually in a project and you're in a real life situation, your advantages that you have is just triple. And that cost that you save is so much more. Like, and the experiences that you're gaining, it's sort of like it's a real life university.
It's just 2 weeks you need, or maybe I don't know, maybe you need a month to get fluent in the language. And this time is like kind of hard because you struggle. But after you jump further, it's you can go to university or you can have a like 6 years of a language, but you never learn that much as in the reality
of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
With the village, with the people that are there.
And you can and then you can as well like meet like find more about the different cultures. You know, it's like it's so inspiring. It's just
so you have a language class, you have a culture class,
exactly.
You have a social
new
class.
Skills like you can learn anything like about cooking or just anything you're interested. You can just learn about it. Okay. And like on the top, you can meet so many people and you can make new friendships.
Yeah, all of those things outweigh the cost of what it would cost you to be traveling.
So yeah. And the feeling that you actually helped someone is also like
wow.
yeah,
exactly.
That's why I came here actually, like to do something good.
Okay, so I'd like to touch back on your professional career as a human resources professional, and I want to touch back again on those people who are thinking, okay, of course she's out there, she's doing this, she's so brave, but I'm still concerned about my career and my professionalism, and I think you're the perfect person to talk to about this. So what do you say to someone when they say, okay, I'm going to take this break? What, like when they take the break and they're ready to go back home, best way that people should approach this when they get back home?
I think they should definitely mention it within the CV, because now it's not that like bad that you just make a break and go traveling. And even the people who are hiring you are interested in. I actually know about some managers that actually require people with this international experience, especially in volunteering projects, because it shows some kind of like initiative, courage, also probably some language skills. So I think they shouldn't be ashamed. They should sell it as a plus or something like edit. So if now like LinkedIn profile is something that most of the people use to have another job. So I would definitely mention it because there might be people who are actually looking for these keywords like travel or volunteering projects or stuff like that. They shouldn't be ashamed, and they maybe should write some like sentences about it. What they would actually give them this travel.
So what they learned during that time period.
Yeah, and also like. I mean, I met so many people. I can imagine to start cooperating with them about some international projects now. So it's not just about like looking for a new vacancy, but it's also like you can meet people. You can actually cooperate when you're back home.
I actually like that idea a lot because basically as you're on the road and you're meeting different people from different parts of the world. You could all of a sudden start these new projects internationally with one person in one country, one person in another country, and start on your own project. Yeah. Another thing that I've heard several times that people have said to me sometimes, it's like, if a new employer is not willing to recognize your new skills, you don't need to be in that company.
No, of course not. No, there are so many options if you have something to offer, and you should maybe look more for some like people that actually appreciate your work and your attitude. Yeah, so I would give it a time. Maybe if those people quit their job or make some kind of break, I would start communicating with another companies like while traveling. It's so easy actually to communicate like with the new technologies. You can WhatsApp people or Skype. I mean, they don't even realize that you are like a million kilometers away. So maybe I just start to approach potential employers, but mention that you actually gain the best experience in your life and you can offer a lot.
I've also seen people who have decided while they're on the road that, okay, well, my country is not the only country in the world that requires my skills. So they might end up, maybe they're from Czech, but they might end up working in Australia. Continuing their profession in a different way.
Or staying in Czech and working for Australian company, right?
Or a South American company.
Exactly, but what the traveling gives you, and everything about that is the confidence, maybe.
Confidence is a good one.
Definitely in the language, because once you travel more than 1 month, it's not possible not to talk. So even if there are a lot of like introvert people who don't talk that much, but then you see them like talking to just one person in a corner, or even like if you want to buy a ticket for a bus or something, you just get this confidence.
You have to get out and say it.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I want to mention.
Okay, so definitely they should put it on their CV, make sure it's out there right away. They should be looking for possibilities of maybe joining together with other travelers in different parts. Maybe another option is when they get back to their host country, to their home country, to look at maybe a company that deals with South America, or a company that deals with the region and they were traveling in. Maybe there's a South American company that wants to do business in their country. And having that experience and having that knowledge is going to definitely be a plus for them.
And I think once these people start traveling, they will definitely talk about that stuff with the other like travelers, because most of us are here for the same reason, and we share so much within traveling. I met a lot of I already made really good friendship with people who are in the same same vibe maybe as me, and they helped me to realize lots of stuff, and we help each other with this what is going to happen later.
I'm going to touch on one more thing. You had mentioned something before we even started recording about the fact that you are from Czech Republic and your parents and your grandparents came from a communist time and did not have this opportunity to travel.
Yeah, that's the article I started to write about today, because I feel like people still don't actually realize that we, like 30 years ago, for example, my parents and my family couldn't leave the country. There was with the Soviet Union, and they were stuck there for 30 years. Once they left the borders to some Western country, they couldn't come back anymore. And I think it's something that, okay, there are not many people raised by their parents to do this, because their parents just don't consider it.
It's not a concept in their mind.
And once we have this opportunity, we should definitely take it, because it makes you another person, and it also can help a lot to your country. Like when you bring some other ideas from the different world, especially totally different to be here and to be back in Europe, and you can realize that there are so many things you can actually
contribute later on.
Exactly.
Wow, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening in. As always, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please take a look at our travel notes to see the story that Barbara wrote, Try to Imagine, which is featured on our Facebook page, along with other stories written by travelers. I'd also like to give a shout out, as always, to our editor, Marshall. Please don't forget to subscribe so that you'll be connected when we have all our future updates. When things get back to normal, I look forward to seeing you here in Cuenca, Ecuador. Bye for now, and please stay safe.